Hey guys, good evening. Sorry for the 15 minutes delay. So, what did we do in the last class? So, we did evaluation of linear regression. So, we discussed all the metrics, right? Theoretical stuff, as well as we tried evaluating a model using sklearn library. Okay. So, related to linear regression, there are certain theoretical concepts left out. Like, what are the assumptions of linear regression? Advantages, disadvantages. Already you know the applications. Whenever target column is continuous, in such scenario we use uh, linear regression. And then I'll discuss about what is underfitting, what is overfitting. Very important interview related question and how to overcome that. We have a regularization technique like a ridge, lasso, and also elastic net. And then finally, I'll show how to implement those three algorithms. Okay, and also we'll be left with one more concept, gradient descent, which helps in selecting the optimal values for M and C. Okay, so whatever I discussed today, they're all important for interview perspective. Bit of theory, but still super important. Okay, yeah. So I hope you are understanding everything. You're not facing any issue from our website, right? All videos, like if you are watching, everything is working perfectly fine. Let me share my screen. You can see my screen. Okay. First thing, we'll discuss about what are the different assumptions of linear regression. Any idea what are the assumptions of linear regression? Assumptions of linear regression. Any guess? Any idea? The first assumption, there should be linear relationship between your dependent and independent variables. Okay, it's very much important to have that linearity between x and y. First assumption, that should be a linear relationship between x and y. Okay, that's the first thing. The second assumption. So while evaluating a model, you find an errors, right? So the errors should be independent of each other. That means they should not be related. Errors should be different. Okay, errors, or we call it like a residuals, should be independent of each other. No dependency. Every error should be different from the other error. There should not be any dependency between the errors. So that's the second assumption. Third important assumption is we call it like homoscedasticity. Any idea what is homoscedasticity? Homoscedasticity. So, homoscedasticity in the sense the variation or a variance of your error should remain constant across all the predicted values. That means whenever you plot your errors or whenever you find an error, the difference between error should be constant. There should not be much variance. Okay, so homoscedasticity in the sense the variance of error the variance of errors. Variance in the sense you know the difference should be constant across all the predictions. So if you try finding variance between errors, so it should be constant for all the predictions. Okay.
So the second point, what is this? Errors residual should be
Errors,
independent.
like whatever errors you get now, like you know error formula, y minus y hat.
Okay,
Whatever errors you get, they should be independent of each other. It should not be dependent. Dependency should not be there. Each error should be different.
okay. For each data point, you mean?
Yeah, for each observation, whatever error we get should be different.
Okay.
Okay. Clear about homoscedasticity? The variance of errors. Variance in the sense the difference should be constant across all the predictions. If you take difference between errors, it should be constant. And then next one, when you try to plot a graph for a residuals or an errors, it should represent a normal distributions. Okay, so errors should follow errors should follow normal distribution. Anyways, we don't check anything, but still, you should have a knowledge. We're not testing them. We'll be considering few things. Okay. So next one, we have little or no multicollinearity. Any idea what is no multicollinearity? I taught you those concept in a heat map.
Means highly correlation between two or more variable.
That should not be okay. So
Yes.
usually, whenever you have input variables, no, the correlation between any two input variables cannot be high. Okay, no or little multicollinearity in the sense correlation between input variables should not be high. Should not be high. That is a no multicollinearity concept. Okay. And one more important thing, a data should not have an outliers. If data has an outliers, you will see a huge shift in our regression line. Data cannot have outliers because your regression lines are very sensitive to it. So these are the 6 important assumptions related to linear regression. Any questions you can ask? You can remember any four as well, but I gave you six. Clear, all good. Any questions? Next one, advantages and disadvantages of a linear regression. So every algorithm that you learn, you have to learn in a same manner. So advantages. So what are the advantages of using this data? It's a very simple and easy to understand. Among all the algorithms you're gonna learn, this is a very simple and easy to implement algorithm. Even understanding was so simple, right? Because we have already learned this in our lower classes itself. Second thing, works well only for a linear data. Linear data in the sense that should be linear relationship between x and y. That means as one increases, the other one also increases. The dependency will be more. Okay. And then easy to interpret the coefficients. You can easily understand what are the coefficients, slope, intercepts, and all. And then, very important thing, it requires less computational power. Simple model, right? The basic maths is happening here. So I would say it requires less computational power. You need not use like more complex CPUs or a GPUs. A simple system is enough to do this. Okay, it requires very less computation. So this is advantage. So what is the disadvantage? Any disadvantages?
This with outliers, it's not like perform
Hmm.
well.
Sensitive to outliers.
Yes.
So if we are not handling, so you see a lot of variation in a line. Second one,
For nonlinear data, it will not
yeah.
work well.
Usually in a real world, it's really hard to find a linear data. Most of the data will be non-linear itself. Okay, so it fails with that. When data is non-linear, it performs poorly. Anything else? Can underfit for a complex data. I'll discuss what is underfit. It's just like, okay, your mindset is to learn a simple things, but what if somebody teaches you very complex things? You couldn't perform well, right? Like you cannot understand, and even you couldn't perform well in exam or interviews. Same goes here. Underfit with complex data. I'll explain what is underfitting, what is overfitting, and all. Okay, again, the model performance will fail if assumptions are violated. If assumptions are violated, model fails to perform well. These are the different advantages and disadvantages of your linear regression. Applications, you know, na, sales prediction, temperature prediction, price predictions, like that. We have a different applications. Any questions you can ask? All good? Okay. This is related to assumption, advantages, disadvantages. If you want, you can also write applications as well. What are the different applications? Sales prediction, temperature prediction, and then food delivery time prediction. Excuse me, sorry. And then insurance price prediction. flight price prediction, house price prediction, etc. Like this. These are the different applications. Like those, like anywhere you want to predict a continuous variable, then you can just go with a linear regression. Okay. If this is clear, the next important concept, underfitting and overfitting. Okay. First, we'll try understanding what exactly is underfitting. Any idea what is underfitting? Very important interview perspective questions. No idea?
Underfitting means if the data is too simple, so it a model perform well on the test data, but in real time it perform poor.
Okay. You're a little bit correct, a little bit wrong. Anyways, yeah. Good, well tried, but okay. Let me explain a general scenario. When it comes to an underfitting, before I give a proper definition, think about a last benchers in a class. Okay. So usually what happens with last benchers?
They live the life.
Usually when it comes to a machine learning, two things happens, right? Training and testing. Same goes with the students as well. So how will be the performance of last benchers during training as a and testing? They never listen to a teacher and they never attempt to do well in exams, right? Yeah. So I would say student never listen to a lecture during training and do not perform well during a testing. Well during testing or during test or exams. Okay. So, so what did you understand from this? Same goes with underfitting as well. Underfitting in a sense, the model performance will not be good during training and it couldn't perform well even during a testing. Understood what is underfitting?
Yes.
So model performance, I would say model couldn't perform well during training as well. during testing. Okay, sometimes we forget the technical definition, so I gave this simple example. So at least you will be able to explain the simple example in interview. Okay, last benchers, they never listen to a lecture during a training process. They never do well in a test or an exam. That's an underfitting. Same thing happens. Model couldn't perform well during training as well as during our testing. So we see that in this underfitting, so what will happen to a training error? It will be less or high.
I
Yes. And even testing error will be high. So when they're not learning, obviously the performance will be bad. Performance bad in the sense, don't you think error will be high? Making wrong predictions, answering in a wrong way. So obviously errors or mistakes will increase. Got it? In other way round, you can also say like, as I guess Pavan was saying something. So usually underfitting, you can see in other words as well. That is, it happens when model is too simple and cannot learn the complex patterns in our data. Okay, underfitting happens. People can ask like why the performance will be bad. So it happens when model is too simple. Just like mindset of a last venture who wants to learn only the simple things or want to learn only the pass marks things. So it happens when model is too simple to learn complex patterns in our data. Okay, it's just like going to a fifth grade and teaching them the 10th grade maths. And if they don't understand anything, they never do well in an exam. Okay, very simple model, especially linear regression. I said it underfits with a complex data. Linear regression is a simple model. Imagine when you have a complex data, non-linear data, your model couldn't understand the complex pattern. So when it's not understanding, how can you expect it to perform well during a testing? We can't expect good results even there. So we call this entire process as underfitting. Any questions related to underfitting you can ask. Very important interview question. Explain what is underfitting, overfitting, what is bias and variance. How do we overcome them? Clear so far? So how do you overcome this? Any idea how to overcome underfitting? If model is too simple to learn, what should we do? What should we do? Just increase the model complexity. How do you increase the model complexity? Increase the model complexity in the sense use complex algorithm. Okay. Use complex algorithms such as SVM, KNN, decision tree, random forest. Usually underfit happens in a linear regression only. That's a very simple model, right? Use complex models. Okay? Complex or advanced models that we're gonna study in the future.
Okay.
Yeah. All good?
Yes.
Okay. What is overfitting then?
The overfitting when the front bencher crammed the
Hmm.
syllabus and exam came out of book. So then they don't know how to what to do. Then they did not perform.
We'll call like a first benchers.
Huh?
We'll call like a first benchers
Yes, yes, obviously.
who study everything, whatever teacher teaches you.
Yes,
Each and everything, each and every corner of a book they study, they try mugging up things without understanding.
yes,
Their performance will be very good during a training. When teacher asks anything, they'll answer really well. When something out of a syllabus comes in an exam, student couldn't perform well. Okay, so let me explain. Many fail to explain this because they try to mug up our technical definitions which they forget it. Remember like this. So overfitting in a sense, first benches. So what happens with first benchers? First benchers learn everything taught by teacher and performs well during a training. And performs very well during training. But when something out of syllabus comes in exam, comes in exam, they fail to, or I would say they perform poor during exams or during testing. Understood. They do exceptionally well during a training, learning each and everything that has been taught by a teacher. Same happens with your model. Whatever data is available for training, each and every point it will learn. When something unseen data comes during our testing, the model struggles to do well. It fails during our testing. So we call that as a overfitting concept. Okay. So technically saying, model performs too well during training, but fails to perform well during testing. Okay, so what happens in this case? Like, in which case the error will be high? What happens during training? Training error will be high or low?
Training error will be low and testing error will be high.
Yes. Good. So training error will be low and testing error will be high because it's failing to make up proper predictions, right? But not performing during testing, not performing well during testing in a sense. Obviously, error will be high. Okay. So why it happens? It happens when model tries to learn each and everything. When model tries to learn each and everything, including noise and outliers. Even things which are not really important, even those things it will try to learn, including noise and outliers. So in that case, what will happen? So they are spending time and learning so many things. Usually, what happens? If we learn too much, we feel like okay, we have studied, but when we sit in exam, we forget everything. Right. So what is the solution? How to overcome this? Usually, this overfitting happens with the complex models. It starts from decision tree. Decision tree it will overfit. Tries to learn each and everything, but performance codes during testing will be really bad. It results in overfitting. One of the limitation of a decision tree is overfitting. Okay. When it is trying to learn each and everything, including noise and outliers, overfitting will happen. It happens in complex models, such as tree-based algorithms. Tree-based algorithm. Okay. So how to overcome overfitting? Any idea? So we'll be using regularization. Okay, which I'll be discussing. And then you can apply cross validation as well. Even this I'll be discussing in upcoming classes. Okay, using regularization, applying cross validation would help us in reducing overfitting. This was related to underfitting and overfitting. Now, All good? Is everything clear so far? Now we have to represent this underfitting and overfitting in terms of bias and a variance. Okay. So I'll just give a heading as bias, variance, trade-off. Then I'll discuss trade-off. First, let's discuss about bias and variance. So, any idea what is bias? Bias basically represents training error. Okay. Usually, bias occurs when model is too simple to capture the patterns. So, I'll say bias occurs when model is too simple to capture complex patterns. And then, what is variance then? Variance, we call it like a testing error. So, variance occurs
In statistics, variance is referred to as a spread of data, right?
that's a variation. This is variance. We represent a testing error with a variance, training error with a bias. Okay.
Okay.
So variance occurs when model learns everything, including noise. This is related to bias and a variance. Now tell me, how do you represent underfitting and overfitting in terms of bias and variance? Underfitting, overfitting. So in case of underfitting, so bias will be high or low.
Bias will be high, right?
In underfitting, bias in the sense it's a training error. So in a underfitting, the model performance will be bad during training itself. So can I say it's high bias? When they don't study, we cannot expect a better results, right? So I'll call low variance. Understood? In a underfitting, training error will be high. They're not focusing during training only. We cannot expect it to perform better during a variance. Instead of saying like a low testing error, we just say like low variance. So error will be high during training, bias, low variance in the sense obviously we cannot expect better results, no? Got it? How about overfitting? How do you represent overfitting?
In underfitting, testing error also will be more, right? Or no?
Testing error will be more, but it's not learning anything, right? We cannot expect to be better. So we say it's a low variance. When somebody is not studying how much mistakes they can make, obviously it will be, it's known thing now. So instead of saying high variance, we say it like a low variance only.
Okay.
Okay. Coming to overfitting, where the error will be high.
Low bias and high variance.
Yes. So error during training will be less, so it's a low bias. Because bias is a training error. And then testing error will be high, so we call it like a high variance. Major focus is on these two. Getting now? When do you say it's a balanced? When do you say the model is generalized? How to achieve bias variance trade-off? Guys, getting, is it making sense?
Yes.
Bias variance trade-off. So bias variance trade-off means it tries to establish the balance between the bias and a variance. So achieving a balance or a trade-off between bias and a variance to reduce the total error. Okay. Balancing both bias and variance to minimize error. So when you call the model as generalized, So instead of overfitting, instead of underfitting, we have to get a generalized model. So how do you represent your generalized model? What should be bias and what should be variance? Mm. Generalized model in the sense, can we say low bias, low variance? Yeah. Even though the trading performance is not that good, at least we expect that testing performance should be better. We call that as a generalized model, balancing. Okay, so how to reduce all these? Both underfitting and overfitting. Already taught. Use simple models for simple data. Okay, if data is simple, use a simple model. Why do you go with a complex models? But data is simple. If you are using a complex model, again it overfits. Okay, so better use simple model for simple data. If it's a complex data, go with a complex model. Second thing, use complex models when model is simple, when data is complex. Okay, use bagging and boosting methods to reduce overfitting. Instead of using single decision tree, it's good to go with multiple trees. Okay, we'll be discussing all this, don't worry. And then uh, we use regularization. Regularization in the sense like adding penalties to reduce overfitting. Okay, so regularization in a simple words, we gonna add penalties. We add penalties to coefficients. In detail, I'll discuss, don't worry. And then we have one more concept which is cross validation. You can also use cross validation again to reduce overfitting. So cross validation in the sense train and test data with different samples. Even this I'll discuss in detail in upcoming classes. But instead of training, With single sample, you try and train your data with different samples, test your model with different samples. Okay, just like if you are studying from only one source, you get limited knowledge. When you study from different sources, you get like more knowledge. Same goes here. Train and test data with different samples. With different samples. This is all related to overfitting and underfitting. Any questions you can ask? All good, clear? Any questions? No questions? I know it's too much theory. So for today, digest assumptions and what is underfitting, overfitting, bias variance, and how to overcome that. Next class, I'll discuss about what is regularization, different types, and also gradient descent. And also, I'll give you a list of important questions related to linear regression. Accordingly, you people can prepare. Okay, so I'll be done with linear regression for tomorrow. And then we'll start a logistic, one algorithm related to classification. First algorithm related to regression takes time, and for classification, it takes time. After that, I don't want to repeat things like pre processing and all, it's already known to you. Same is applicable. I'll just explain what an algorithm is, how it works, any assumptions, advantages, disadvantages, and then I'll show you the implementation. So as we go on, we see hyperparameters and all, which basically enhances your model performance, learning parameters. So we'll focus more on such things. So first two algorithms, first two projects, whatever I show is like super important. If you understand that, you can do any project. Clear? Any questions? Any questions? All good? Still, if you have a doubt on this underfitting, overfitting, read one or two blogs, ask a ChatGPT to explain simpler than this. So look into few websites, so you will get some knowledge. Okay, but you can remember in a way I taught. That's like more than sufficient. And he couldn't answer that. Okay. All right then.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Tomorrow I'll finish linear and then I'll give one regression data. Weekend you can work on that data. After I finish classification, I'll show you deployment. Okay.
Okay. Sure.
Thank you. Bye bye. Good night. Take care.
Juita, can I connect after this call?
Yeah, yeah. I'll call you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys.